Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Charm TV. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will now begin. If everyone could please take this opportunity to turn off or mute all of your electronic devices, please do so. Don't be that guy. The board is now in session. Mr. Chairman, we do have a few preliminary matters to address before we begin.
That's fine.
The following three cases have been postponed and will be heard at a later date. That is case number 7 on the violation docket, OK Tavern, 2301 East Biddle Street, violation of Rule 4.20C2I, violation of Rule 3.09A, and violation of Rule 3.09B. Also postponed is case 10 on the violation docket, that is Garden Liquors, 5401 Bel Air Road, violation of Rule 4.05 little b. And on the transfer docket, case number 1, Thames Street Ventures LLC, 1704 Thames Street, Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, application to transfer ownership and location from a secured creditor of a Class BD7 license presently located at 2501 through 03 Fleet Street to 1704 Thames Street, requesting live entertainment and outdoor table service. Moving on to the violation docket. The liquor store, Socialized, 6130 Bel Air Road, Class BD7, beer, wine, liquor license, violation of Rule 4.20 little c, 2 little I, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times. Violation of Rule 3.03 little c, records, employee records. Violation of Rule 3.03 little d, 2 little I, records, trader's license. And violation of Rule 3.09 little b, restroom facilities and health regulations, compliance with state and city health department laws, rules and regulations. Please come forward.
Before we begin, can I ask you all to step back for just 1 second? Okay. I just wanted to indicate to those who are present here and who are watching that today's docket reflects the beginning of our phase 1 of our License BD7 initiative, and I wanted to explain a little bit about that. We're joined this morning by the Baltimore City Sheriff Kogan, who's here with us, and we're working in conjunction with him. Sheriff Kogan, good morning. And I'd like to ask our Chief Inspector, John Chrisomalis, if he might give us a little background on this before we begin, because you'll see a series of violations relating to these particular licenses and what's going on with them. Chief?
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. For the past several months, the Baltimore City Liquor Board has been receiving complaints from citizens that taverns are not operating within the scope of their license and not serving customers in the tavern portion of their business. Upon an investigation, it was determined that it might be the case at certain locations. I reached out to Sheriff Kogan and asked him if he would be willing to have a joint enforcement operation to address these concerns. Sheriff Kogan immediately responded that his agency is ready and willing to help in any way they can, especially if it helps the communities of this city. We executed our first operation, and the resulting violations are on today's docket. We have since partnered up with the Sheriff's Office on other operations and look forward to a continued partnership. We want to thank the Sheriff and especially his deputies for their continued support of the Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Thank you. Sheriff, did you want to indicate anything?
Yeah, just quickly. That's okay. Thanks, John. I just wanted to thank the chairman and the commissioners and the liquor board. I know that you're a community-oriented board, and we're a community-oriented law enforcement agency. And I think this will be a great partnership, and we're very excited to work with you to make the city a more livable place. So thank you.
Thank you. And one last thing. Matt, do you want to come up? So for those who hold BD7 licenses at this time, who may have some interest in converting them to an A7 license, Mr. Ockheimer is going to be here with some information about that today. Is that correct? Do you want to explain?
That is correct. I'll have a handout in the back of the room if anybody wants to come up and get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Those are the preliminaries. Now we'll recall that first case, those who are here. So, no, that's all right. We're recalling the Socialized case at 3170 Bel Air Road for the violations that were previously indicated. You are, ma'am?
Praneet Sani.
And are you an attorney or one of the licensees?
I'm the owner of the license.
That's what I thought. Okay. May I ask you to raise your right hand and those from the board as well?
Just swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and statements that you make include the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Okay, and I ask you to speak up and into the mic, okay, because we're on television.
Yes.
You might get an Emmy Award for this if you. So you, your license is charged with 4 violations. Do you wish to admit the violations and explain to us what happened, or do you want to deny them and have us prove the violations?
I deny the violations, but I would like to provide an explanation.
Well, you're going to have to if you deny them
Yes.
and we prove them. Okay, let's begin with our inspectors.
Yeah, please.
Inspector Cindy Tuttle, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On February 15th, 2024, Inspector Tuttle, Inspector Washington from the Liquor Board, and Sergeant Hawley and Sergeant Monk, members of the Baltimore City Sheriff's Office Special Operation Division, conducted BD7 investigations throughout the city. At approximately 5:15, Inspector Washington and Sergeant Monk entered the establishment in an undercover capacity. When they asked to use the tavern, they were told it was closed and refused entry. They then proceeded to the packaged goods side and purchased a 6-pack of Jack Daniel's Black for $9.80 from the establishment. They left the establishment and informed myself and Sergeant Hawley that they had made the purchase and were denied entry into the tavern. Inspector Tudhope made contact with Mr. Ephraim Gorey, and Mr. Gorey to request that he had, I'm sorry, I lost my place. We made contact with the cashier, who said the manager had stepped out, Mr. Ephraim Gorey. They called Mr. Gorey and requested that he return. We made contact with Mr. Gorey and informed him that his staff had refused entry into the tavern area for the BLC inspectors and the sheriff's office. Staff also noted that there was a large rope across the cordoning off the bar, and there was no water in the 3-compartment sink. Mr. Gorey was asked for employee records to help identify the staff working at the time, but he was unable to provide any records. He was also unable to provide the inspectors with a 2023 trader's license. Inspectors left the establishment without any further.
Ms. Sonny, do you have any questions for the inspector? Okay. Do you wish to testify yourself?
Yes.
Were you present during this April 15th
I
incident?
was present in the premises the entire day. I had actually just stepped out an hour before the inspection happened. So first and foremost, sir, we have been operating as a business for many, many years, and we follow and abide by the rules as much as possible. And unfortunately, that day, there was some sort of misunderstanding because based on my conversation with the employee, he heard the people asked to use the restroom, which is what he denied for. That's why we have a rope outside of the bar. We're under one roof. We are a packaged goods store and a tavern under one roof. And we're always operating 7 days a week. I do have all the receipts from the days before and after the inspection, 14th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, we are operating on a daily basis. Unfortunately, there are some days where we don't get customers, and we do have a clientele. We're in a neighborhood, so we do deal with people who are, sometimes trying to just come in with lines and just trying to use restroom and kind of had property damage issues before and all of that. So we put that rope just so we can limit the usage of just people coming in and trying to use the restroom. We keep that premises neat and clean for our customers, not for just people trying to come in and use the restroom and have property destruction and leave. So the purpose of that rope is simply to provide safety and, limit the usage of just restroom usage purposes. So that's the explanation for the red rope. Unfortunately, that day, we did not have many customers come in. We had no customers come in because the prior day was a Valentine's Day special that we were running at the bar, due to which, for some reason, we had no clients come in that day. But we did not deny anybody for any kind of tavern usage. Based on the conversation I had with my employee, he thought they were asking for the restroom, which is what he said no to.
Okay. Did he have the employee records?
Yes, so
Now,
because
did
I had,
he?
no, he didn't.
Okay.
He didn't have it because we actually have personal information displayed on the employee records. And again, due to safety reasons, we don't want our information to be displayed on.
Why didn't he call you?
He did try to reach me, but because I had just left, my phone actually didn't, I couldn't answer his phone call. So I was not in touch with him. That is an issue that happened. He
Did
did
he
call
have the
me.
trader's license?
That is something that we are working on. So because of the renewal process, my accountant and I are working on the renewals, and I had the paperwork in my possession in the folder that I work with. So at the time, they were not able to provide it because I physically had it. And we're working on the renewals right now, so very shortly, that trader license will be up on display.
Did you want to add anything else? Have you been back?
I just,
I just wanted to ask.
sorry.
I have not been back, no.
Had you been there previously?
I have.
Did you?
I have never seen anyone in the tavern part, and there's always that red rope in front of the thing.
You wanted to add?
Like I said, sir, I have the receipts to prove the sales from the tavern part. I mean, this is my reports.
I believe you,
Right.
but you're charged with the 15th, and those are not for that date.
Correct, and like I said, I've tried to explain the best possible way that we did not have customers. That's something that's not in my control. However, I would like to add that we have been checked and inspected on a regular basis by the liquor board and by the health department, and I have papers, letters that we have received thanking us for abiding the rules and abiding the law. Never had any minor tickets. We are very,
You've had
very,
this
very
license
strict
since
about that.
2017, and you've had one violation for a sale
Since
of minor.
then, we have been checked very regularly. I have reports where in the past 1 month, we have been checked 4 times, and we have gotten the clearance of having a very good report. So I brought those in physically just to show you that we are trying to do the right thing here, as best as in our capacity.
Okay. Let me just ask you this. Is there some other way that you can, with a sign or something else, make your restroom unavailable to non-customers so that you don't block off your bar?
We can try that, sir.
Because it gives the impression to our inspectors and everyone else that the bar is closed.
I
And when there are no
understand.
customers there,
I can work on that, sir. But the only thing, I just want to let you know, because of the location we're in a pretty heavy populated neighborhood. It's very hard because we are dealing with customers who are, trying to also not only just walk in the store, but they're also harassing customers. Can we get some change, this, that? So we're trying to create a safe environment for our customers who are within our premises. And so far, that's the only thing that has worked for us without having to avoid any kind of confrontation. That's the best way I can
And do you just have one
explain it.
employee on duty at a time?
No, we have 2 employees. Just that moment, I had stepped out of the location with my manager to take care of some business, and that was like an hour before they came in for the inspection. But usually, there's 2 employees at all times.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No, it's just that one sentence where they were, you told them it was closed and refused entry.
That
Is
was-
that correct?
That was in the thought process of using the restroom.
Restroom, but they have here that they asked entry to the bar and they were refused.
That's exactly what I spoke to because I was not there physically. I asked my employee, and he said that they were asking for restroom access, and that's what was denied.
Inspector, were you the inspector that was there?
Yes, Inspector Kenyatta Washington. I did not actually use the restroom. I stepped in and asked for a shot of Patron, and I was told they were closed and come back tomorrow.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
No other questions?
Not sure that your employee was being perfectly honest with you. I understand you're being honest with us.
Yes, I was
But
not there, so.
You weren't there. Okay. All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received as well as the evidence, and even though we didn't take those papers from you, I am going to take you at your word that they represent what you say they
Yes.
represent. Well, first of all, I'm going to find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, small I, on February 15, a violation of Rule 3.03, small c, records on February 15, violation of Rule 3.03D, small I, trader's license on February 15, and a violation of 3.09B for the violation related to the sink on February 15. Take into consideration that you have a good record with the one single exception, that you are trying to deal with this situation. That is not easy, but I do recommend that you come up with a better way of dealing with your customers than the rope across the bar, because it gives every indication that it's closed. And then when the inspector speaks to the man and asks him for service at the bar, he's told that it's closed. That's not working. In light of all that, I would impose $100 fines as to each of the violations and give you 30 days to pay. So that'd be a $400 violation.
So, Mr. Chair, it's $100 for each violation?
Yes.
Okay. Based on materials and testimony provided today, I also agree with the Chair's findings, a violation of Rule 4.20 of $100. Also, violation of Rule 3.03, records, fine of $100. Violation of Rule 3.03, records, trader's license, $100 fine. And also violation of Rule 3.09B, restroom facilities, a fine of $100.
Based on the charging documents, the testimony given today, and any evidence, I also agree with the chairman and commissioner and find that there was a violation of Rule 4.20C II, prohibited activities by license type, and violation of Rule 3.03C, records, employee records, violation of Rule 3.03D II, records, trader's license, February 15th, and also violation of Rule 3.09B, restroom facilities, health regulations, compliance on February 15th on all of them. I do agree with the nominal fee, given your testimony of $100 per fine. That is sufficient, and 30 days to pay.
Yeah, please understand, I know you're not happy with this, but we could have imposed a much harsher fine than that, and we're doing it on the basis of your record. So try to maintain the record and work with them, make sure that when you're inspected, that you can show that you're open, okay? And talk to your employee.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Ms. Russell?
Like call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
LaRocca, 3210 through 14 Pulaski Highway, Class BD7, Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, 2, little I, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times, and violation of Rule 3.03, little c, employee records. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Hurdle.
Good morning, Abraham Hurdle on behalf of LaRocca LLC.
Good morning. Are these going to be admissions or denials?
This is going to be an admission.
Okay. Want to proffer?
Sure.
Are you going to have him testify as well?
I don't anticipate that. I spoke to my client about the incident in question. They've been operating this location for a while. The tavern actually does quite a bit of business. I think it does have live entertainment on the license as well. This was a quiet day and just a staffing issue. With regards to the records, we've resolved that issue. We've got the records already taken care of. It's already behind the bar. Staff is aware of the situation. The bar's never had any issues with the sheriff's office in the past, so they're violation-free historically with regards to the sheriff's office. I think they've had a couple of hiccups with the
They've
liquor
had
board.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sales to minors.
This isn't a sales to minor. This is a unique situation we have here today.
It's a different violation.
The
It's not a good record, though.
circumstances with the bar, it's been a tough couple of years, and they would ask for leniency. They've made some significant changes. They've done a lot of training with the staff. We're working on an employee handbook in regards to how things can be managed a little bit better so that the staff is a little better prepared when the sheriff or the liquor board inspectors come in, so that everything just goes a little smoothly the next time there's an inspection, and certainly to prevent future possible sixth violation of sales to minors.
Have they been otherwise cooperative, Inspector?
They were.
Okay, Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hurdle. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the proffer from counsel, which included the admission of the violations, I find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, double I, prohibited activities on February 15, 2024, and a violation of Rule 3.03C, failure to provide employee records on February 15, 2024. It's not a good record. It's the first time on this offense, but sales to minors occurred up until 2020. It's been 4 years, so hopefully That's cured. I'd impose a $200 fine as to each of the violations and give them 30 days to pay.
Okay. Based on material testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.20 with a fine of $200 and also violation of Rule 3.03C records with a fine of $200.
Based on the charging documents properly made by counsel, I also agree that there's a violation of Rule 4.20C II, prohibited activities by license type, operating an open tavern at all times on February 15, 2024, and a violation of Rule 3.03C records, employee records on February 15, 2024. Also issue a $200 fine for both and 30 days to pay.
Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope.
Okay, thank you.
Orleans Liquors, 401 North Munford Ave, Class BD7 Beer Wine Liquor License, violation of Rule 4.20 little c double I, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times. Please come forward.
Abraham Hurd on behalf of Rudra LLC. With me is Mr. Prudell.
Good morning. Is this also an admission or a denial?
This is an admission, and I believe Mr. Anderson is being removed from the license just as to why he isn't here.
I'm sorry, he is not on the license anymore?
Mr. Anderson is being removed via the renewal process, so he's in process of being removed,
Well,
just to clarify.
okay. You want to tell us what happened?
My understanding was the board did an inspection and they wouldn't let him use the tavern.
I didn't know if you had an explanation.
Sorry. This is another circumstance where I think it's just an issue of training. He's been working with his staff. We're also working on an employee handbook. I think that everyone in a lot of these locations is just kind of skeptical to let anybody go in back. I know that the rule requires that. I think that a lot of these bars have regulars, so they know the people who are coming in the back to drink 2 or 3 beers or drink whatever it is. And when they see kind of strangers, they're always just a little skeptical of the situation. Again, these are corner bars. These aren't kind of happening places to go to downtown. These are places where it's the same people week in and week out. So when there's new parties involved, they're always hesitant to let them in back. We've talked about it. He understands that that has to change. And going forward, we anticipate no more violations with regards to the tavern issue.
Cooperation?
They were, yes.
Okay. Commissioners?
No questions.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just because we have a number of these violations of 4.20, if the situation is that they have a bar and then they have a separate liquor store, and they only have one person coming in, it should be that they automatically keep the bar open, close the liquor store, or if you come in and you say you want a 6-pack, then they go back and get the beer or whatever? I'm just going through the process. But the
It's their
beer
obligation
license,
to have them both open.
they could have both of them open.
That's my understanding of the rule.
But if you have only one employee, and I'm going into the process, that employee should be at the bar because they have liquor license to operate a bar, a
I think
tavern.
most places run 2 employees all the time, just for any number of security reasons, and that way they should be able to service both. I don't think, again, I'm not sure these are chatty bartender types. It's just a matter of making sure the person has a drink if they need one. If they have one, I think that it's their job to figure out a way to service both, or just maintain the bar.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the proffer from counsel, which included an admission of the violation, I find a violation of Rule 4.20 small c double I, prohibited activities on February 15, 2024. Licensee had a sale to minor violation 2 years ago. He's had the license since 2018. I'd impose a $300 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on materials and testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.20C with a fine of $300.
Based on the charging documents properly made by counsel, I also agree that there's a violation of Rule 4.20C II, prohibited activities by license type, on February 15, 2024. Issue a $300 fine and 30 days of pay.
Ms. Russell?
Medical exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tuttle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderland Liquors, 2043 through 45 Pennsylvania Avenue, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, double I, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times. Please come forward.
Abraham Hurd on behalf of Wonderland Liquors, United Penn Operating. I would like to ask for a postponement if the board will grant it. My client had something come up last minute. We've talked about this recently. I'm not sure what happened today, but we would ask for a postponement. It would be an admission if we weren't able to postpone it.
Do you really need him here?
It's up to the board.
Let's hear your proffer. You're admitting, he's authorized you to admit?
He has indicated that the circumstance was, again, as it seems to be in all of these cases, a situation where the employees are not quite as well-versed as they should be, or skeptical of whatever the circumstances are, and did not let someone into the tavern area of the bar. I have talked to him since then. He's made an effort to train the employees a little better, well, hopefully a lot better, and going forward, this shouldn't be an issue. We are looking into the possibility of an A7 at this location, but until then, I have informed him that he must have the tavern space open at all times.
Given that he's given you his full understanding of this and that you're here to represent him, I don't know that we need him, so I'm going to proceed. Has he been otherwise cooperative?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
I'm sorry, can you identify yourself? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just identify yourself.
Oh, no problem. Agent Darrell Clark.
And do you need them sworn?
Yeah, why don't you swear the,
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
okay, and Deputy, what is your name?
Deputy Tom Spencer.
Okay. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, then, do the commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions.
All right, thanks. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, which included an admission of the violation, I find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, double I, prohibited activities on February 15, 2024. Licensees had the license since 22, had the same violation last year, so I would impose a $400 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on materials and proffer from the attorney, I agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by licensed type, open operating tavern at all times on February 15th, 2024, and also with a fine of $400.
Based on the charging documents and proffer made by counsel, I too agree that it was a violation of Rule 4.20C, double I, prohibited activities, open and operating tavern at all times on February 15, 2024, and issue a $400 fine, 30 days of pay.
I would encourage them to consider the A7 because they seem to keep having this problem.
I
Ms.
think the
Russell?
zoning permits it as well there, so.
Ms. Russell?
Medical exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Agent Perez.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Royal Casino, 1515 through 19 Pennsylvania Avenue, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, double I, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times. Please come forward.
Good morning. Gentlemen, you're, yeah, are you all the licensees?
Yes.
Okay, please raise your right hands. They've already been sworn.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And sir, you've already spoken. Can you state your name and spell it?
My name is Wesley, Wesley.
Okay, well, I do have that. I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
Mr. Ivy. And you are, sir?
I'm Weston W.I.D.
Okay. And this gentleman is?
He's our employee.
Oh, okay. Who's going to speak for you? You, sir? Or you, sir? Okay. So you're charged with this violation on February 15th. Do you want to admit it and explain it or deny it and have us prove it?
We admit it, but we would like to talk, if you don't mind.
You may. Go ahead.
First of all, I've been a licensee in the city of Baltimore for 57 years. That some of you are not even that old. And
I don't know about that.
and we've seen a lot of changes here. On Pennsylvania Avenue, we have a problem like you have never seen before, perhaps in Israel, maybe. Just before they came in on our place there, yeah, we have to be very careful because we're going to get hurt. There was a killing just 4 blocks down on Pennsylvania Avenue, just before you fellas went in. And then just a couple of hours later, a killing right outside in front of our building there. So we are under a tremendous amount of stress. And Mr. Washington, who works for us, just recently, and by the way, he just had, he was notified just a few days before that he had bone cancer. And so he was on a great deal of stress. He tried to get tell these gentlemen not to go in, but they have their ways to do that, and they did so. But we have to restrict people going into our business to stay alive. And all of you know that's true. We have a serious problem here, and we have also been in touch with the Liquor Board to change to an A7. And we'd like to do that as fast and quickly as possible.
Well, as
But
you
we-
heard me say, if you want to get information from Mr. Ockheimer, when you're finished, they have it in the back there, and they can give you the information about converting your license.
I've already contacted our council person and also the president of our association there, Nick.
No,
Yeah.
it's Wanda Watts.
Yeah.
Wanda Watts, something.
Yeah, and also the president. She's the administrator and the president. We've contacted them, and they all know the problem here. Anyone who goes to Pennsylvania and North Avenue on any given day will know that this is pretty much like the television series, The Corner, and the other one that's there, where they name the area, they're pushing all the people toward one area so that they can control it. They call it Amsterdam. Well, we are in the middle of Amsterdam. This is where they are pushing all of the people with the drugs and all of the other things. Just drive through there if you haven't already done it. It's amazing when you go to that corner. And you wonder, how could it last? How could it last this long? And how can we survive? We have survived for 57 years. This boy wasn't even born. This is my son, by the way. He wasn't even born at the time. I was 25 years old when we got the first ball. And we've had a total of 3. So we've been a licensee for the entire time. And we hope that you will understand as a board that there has to be some changes. But yes, he only following our orders. Be careful. Don't let anybody in that's going to harm you. And unfortunately, we can't look at how the people and know that they're okay. We don't have that ability, but we did it.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. So, Mr. Ivy, you've had this license since 1998.
Yes.
It's been 10 years since the last time you were here for this kind of a violation, and 5 for another.
That's a miracle, sir. Believe me.
I understand. It's not an easy environment. I do encourage you to follow through on the plan to convert the license, because it sounds
Yes,
like
sir.
it's not viable
After
this way.
57 years, I'm afraid we have to do it.
Okay.
BD7 the entire time. The entire time. Now, we can't do that anymore. I try to tell my son, I'm sorry I can't will you something that is clean and everything is okay, but we have survived. And believe me, that's winning.
I agree. All right, thank you. On the basis of the testimony received and the admission from Mr. Ivy, I find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c double I, on February 15, 2024. In light of his testimony and the record, I'd impose a $250 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
How can we pay it now?
Well, let me hear from the other commissioners first.
Yes.
They may not agree.
Based on materials and testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by license type open and operating tavern at all times on February 15, 2024, and also with a fine of $250.
And I do agree. So based on the charging documents and testimony given today, I also find that there was a violation of Rule 4.20C double I, prohibited activities open and operating tavern at all times on February 15, 2024. and issue a $250 fine.
Ms. Russell?
Like close exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Violation Report, Agent Perez. Board Exhibit 2, Compliance Report, Inspector Washington.
Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Just a quick one. I know my son told me don't talk so much, but when did you tell us to start letting people back in? You see, you told us not to let anyone in the back at all. But when did you change?
I
Nobody
think
told us anything.
we'll be able to talk to you after the hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Pratt Liquors and Bar, 1812 West Pratt Street, Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, double I,
Oh, I skipped.
prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times. Please come forward.
Good
For the
morning.
record, Melvin J. Kanansky, 320 North Charles Street, representing the licensees. And just have some quick questions of the individuals that came into the bar.
Okay. Do you want me to have them present their
that'd
evidence
be
first?
nice. That'd be nice.
Okay. Agent?
Yep. On 15th of February 2024, I, Agent Clark, along with Agent Perez and members of Baltimore City Sheriff's Department Special Operations Division, Deputy Spencer, who's here to my left, and Deputy Monroe, conducted a BD7 operations investigation throughout the city of Baltimore to determine if these establishments would operate their taverns in conjunction with the packaged goods store. At approximately 6:10 p.m., Agent Perez and Deputy Spencer entered the establishment known as Pratt Liquors and Bar located at 1812 East Pratt Street in an undercover capacity to see if the establishment would allow them to use the premises for consumption. Agent Perez and Deputy Spencer proceeded directly to access the tavern area by opening a door inside the packaged goods store. Security bouncer that was seated at the bar came up to the door and informed them that the bar was closed. The store clerk working the packaged goods window, later identified as Rabin Banya, also told them that the bar was closed, thereby denying access to use the tavern for on-premises consumption. Deputy Spencer then proceeded to purchase a bottle of Crown Royal apple whiskey for $12 from the packaged goods and utilizing a marked $20 bill. Following the purchase, the agent Perez and Deputy Spencer exited the establishment. Baltimore City Sheriff's Office, Deputy Monroe, and I, Agent Clark, subsequently entered the establishment and made contact with Mr. Rabin Banya and informed him of the violation for refusing entry into the tavern area to the undercover Baltimore liquor license agent Perez and Deputy Sheriff Spencer from the Baltimore City Sheriff's Office. Deputy Monroe and myself, the Baltimore Liquor License Control Agent Clark, returned the alcoholic beverage purchased and changed to Mr. Washington, and the marked $20 bill was recovered.
Mr. Kadansky, you have questions for the agent?
Now, who was actually the person who talked to the bouncer?
Yes, myself.
All right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, step on up,
All
then,
right.
please, because
When
you have
you
to
were-
speak into the microphone.
When you walk in, actually, it's one continuous bar that goes through from the package goods into the bar area. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there's, well, how many people were behind the counter?
Just
Two?
one.
Just one?
From what I recall.
And then the person on the other side was seated at the bar.
I didn't see anybody on the other side.
Well, it says here in the report that there was a
Security guard,
seated at the bar.
yes.
All right, so he was seated at the bar,
He was seated on a stool.
at the bar. I mean, I'm not trying to trick you here. And at the point, did you call him over?
No, I tried to access the door and the door was locked.
Then he came over,
Correct.
okay? And when you went back to the front, did you actually make the purchase?
I made the purchase, yes.
You didn't order a mixed drink or anything from that location, did you?
No.
Is there any reason why you did not?
I was denied access to the bar. from
No,
the
but you
security
can
guard.
order a mixed drink from the package goods area. Did you ever order it? You did not?
No.
Okay, I'm not fine with you.
How do we know that?
Because the whole place is licensed.
Are you just testifying to that effect?
No, but I'm saying the whole place is licensed, so you can order in the
That would
package.
not have occurred to me that you could go and order carry-out drink
I-
from the...
You know, when you get old like me, you can remember years ago when we'd have places like that, have little bar stools put in front of there where the window was, and then people there would have, you know, a cocktail, you know, Bloody Mary or whatever you like. I mean, nothing that would be too exotic by today's standards.
Okay.
Let me just proffer them and make it a little faster. In the normal case, the bar goes straight on through. There's usually two people there, one on, that would be working the pack goods, one work on the other side. The security officer was not authorized, he's not an employee. One other thing, the bar was open, they have receipts shown for that day, receipts for the bar and receipts for the package good. On this one particular incident, I can't complain, I don't know what exactly happened, but they were open that whole day, that's why they have two people there, and why the bar goes right on through.
Well, it's the first time they've been cited for this, so they've had the license since 18. So I don't know why the security officer took it upon himself to put them in jeopardy, but he did. And there was no one there to correct it, so. Okay, commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kudensky. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c double I, prohibited activities on February 15, 2024. Last time they were before us was in 2020. One case was dismissed. The others, they were found in violation, and they had violations in 18 and 19. But it's been 4 years. So I'd impose a $300 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on materials and proffer from the attorney, I agree with the chair's findings. A violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by license type open and operating tavern at all times on February 15, 2024, and also with a fine of $300.
Based on the testimony given and charging documents and proffer made by counsel, also find a violation of Rule 4.20C double I, prohibited activities by license, open and operating tavern at all times on February 15, 2024. Issue a $300 fine, 30 days to pay.
Ms. Russell?
Like all exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Violation Report, Agent Perez. Board Exhibit 2, Routine Inspection Report, Agent Clark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Baja Tap, 901 South Bond Street, Class B, Beer 1 liquor license. Violation of Rule 4.07A, open containers on January 27th, 2024, and violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare on February 24th, 2024. Please come forward.
Good morning, gentlemen. Will your names, please?
Good morning, Scott Parker. Casey Conserva.
Would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Who's going to speak for you?
I will.
And you're Mr. Parker, did you
Yes,
say?
sir.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
So do you want to admit or deny these violations?
Admit, sir.
Okay. Do you want to give us some explanation of what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been here for 57 years like other groups. We're just getting started. We've been here about 5 months. The first violation, we didn't expect to be that busy that night, and our security sort of stepped away from the door to handle stuff, and it got away from them. The second time, the second violation, the DJ opened the window, and it's a big space, and we didn't realize the window was open. We apologize for the infractions. We have every intent of being good tenants here and operating within the law, and we're trying to learn and do better, and we're sorry for what we caused.
Inspector Tudhope, so you had indicated in here that they had been warned previously. What's the situation? Are they cooperative?
They were very cooperative. They always lower the music and try to do the best.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right. Thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received as well as the admissions, I find a violation of Rule 4.07A, open containers on January 27, 2024, and a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare on February 24, 2024. They have no history of violations. As Mr. Parker said, they haven't had the license very long. I hope that we won't see you again anytime soon. I'd impose a $150 fine as to each and give you 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on materials and testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.07A, open containers, on January 27, 2024, with a fine of $150. Also violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare of February 24th, 2024, and also with a fine of $150.
Based on the testimony admission made today and the charging documents, I also find a violation of Rule 4.07A, open containers on January 27, 2024, and a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare on February 24th, 2024. Issue a $150 fine on both and 30 days of pay. Good luck.
Ms. Russell?
Clerk will consider this for the record. Violation report, Agent Perez. 2, photos. 3, service request summary dated 1/27/24. 4, violation report, Inspector Brown. 5, compliance inspection report dated 12/16/23. 6, violation report dated 12/16/23, Inspector Ted Hope. And 7, service request dated 2/24/24.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Busy Bee, 4500 through 04 Erdman Avenue, Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, double I, prohibited activities by license type, January 8th, 2024. Violation of Rule 4.17B, storage, January 8th, 2024. Violation of Rule 3.09B, restroom facilities and health regulations, January 8th, 2024. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, double I, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times, February 25th, 2024. Violation of Rule 4.17B, storage, February 25, 2024. And violation of Rule 3.09B, restroom facilities and health regulations, February 25th, 2024. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky, 320 North Charles Street. That we're making an admission is that what the inspector saw, I'm not really sure what the storage is, but I'll argue that because you can have storage in a establishment, but at this point here, we have more way of explanation than anything else.
On both occasions, you're admitting the bar not being open, but you're contesting about the storage issue?
The storage, I think, I don't know what the violation of the storage was, other than having product on premises. Not all product on the premises has to be stored in a particular place. They just have to be on premises.
Well, let's hear from the inspector.
Sure. I'm sorry.
I swear.
You did.
The last case. Inspector Regina Brown, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On the above date and time, which was 1/8/24, Inspector Brown went to the above location for 311 complaint.
Before you go into all that, I just want to ask you a question.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Why did you cite him for the storage issue?
Because it was all over the floor, and some of it wasn't even 6 inches off the floor.
And the rules require that it be elevated 6
Yes.
inches? Okay. Did you have a question about
Yeah, what rule says 6 inches? Tell me what rule.
It's in our violation, in our SOPs, it has to be elevated off the floor.
No, SOP, what rule I'm asking about?
I'm not sure. what rule.
We got Michelle, when she wants to have a speaking part. What does the rule say? I'm sorry, I don't want to jump in at the 6 inches.
Mr. Chair. So in the violation citation that you received, and in the docket, it indicates 4.17B, which indicates a licensee may not store or keep alcoholic beverages on the premises unless alcoholic beverages are at least 6 inches above the ground.
All beverages,
Yes, that's what it says.
not even the ones that are enclosed and that are like,
That's what it says.
okay, then everybody's going to be in violation then. All right, that's all I know.
But it wouldn't have been caught if he had his bar open.
Well, as you've heard all these stories here, things are not exactly working well in the city. And I have these reports that other inspectors came down and found out.
Yeah, but let me just ask you this. So this is what's troubling. So they go on January 8th and they find these 3 violations, and they go back on February 25th and the same 3 violations. So
Yeah,
what's going on?
What you're saying, second verse, same as the first, he's not paying attention. I have been in touch with the licensee, and what he's proposing to do, it's not an excuse for this year right now, that what he's going to do is going to create a special area for storage, and I can just give you an idea of what we're showing here. The area back here, they're going to create storage, make sure, here's the bar, the other side's the package, but they're going to cut through so that the same people can work bar side. Haven't done it yet, but they think either that or go to an A7 is going to take care of the area.
Yeah. Given his record, he may be better off converting the license, but yes, okay. Anything else?
Nothing.
Commissioners?
No, I just want to comment that he had a history of several minors in the past. Now he's got 6 violations. I just hope that your client understands that it's a privilege to have a liquor license. Does he understand that?
Yeah, he understands. I went through that. He was just in a process of trying to determine how and where he was going to take his product and so forth.
Okay, thank you.
I have no questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel and the testimony received, including an admission to the Rule 4.20 CII violation and the Rule 3.09B violation, I find a violation of Rule 4.20 CII prohibited activities on January 8th, as well as on February 25, 2024. Find a violation of Rule 4.17B storage on January 8th, 2024, as well as on February 25, 2024. Find a violation of Rule 3.09B, health regulations compliance, on January 8, 2024, as well as on February 25, 2024. Given his record and the fact that this, within a little over a month, was a repeat performance, I'd impose a $200 fine as to each violation and give him 30 days to pay, which I believe is a $1,200 fine.
Okay. Mr. Chair, based on materials and proffer from the attorney, I agree with the chair's findings. A violation of Rule 4.20, prohibit activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times, $200. And also a violation of Rule 4.17B storage, January 8th, 2024, $200 fine. Violation of Rule 3.09B, $200 fine. Also violation of Rule 420C, prohibited activities by license type, fine $200. Violation of violation of Rule 4.17B, storage, February 25th, 2024, $200 fine. And also violation of Rule 3.09B, restroom facilities, health regulations, February 25th, 2024, with a fine of $200.
Based on the charging documents, testimony given today, proffer made, and admission made by counsel, I'm also find that there has been a violation of Rule 4.20 CII, prohibited activities, open and operating tavern at all times on January 8th, 2024, as well as on February 25th, 2024. Also found a violation of Rule 4.17B, storage on January 8th, 2024, as well as on February 25th, 2024, and also a violation of Rule 3.09B, the health regulations violation on January 8th, 2024, as well as on February the 25th, 2024. Issue a $200 fine to each with 30 days of pay.
Ms. Russell?
Like all exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, compliance report dated 11/16/23, Agent Perez. 2, compliance report, Inspector Brown dated 12/2/23. 3, violation report, Inspector Brown dated 12/2/23. 4, violation report, Inspector Brown dated 1/8/24. 5, service request summary dated 1/8/24. And 6 through 20, exhibits 6 through 20 photos.
Thank you.
Moving into the transfers section of the docket, we have our last case, Neighbors, 1901 Gulf Street, Class BD7, Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. Application to transfer ownership from a secured creditor with continuation of outdoor table service. Please come forward.
For the record, again, Melvin J. Kaninsky, 320 North Charles Street. This is a transfer of an existing license. The way this long lady got all choked up here.
Are you okay, ma'am?
I'll be just proper. She has been on this license since about 2018 or 19, and the other party in there was, party was taken, business taken by a secured party. She's not going to go back in business at that location as Neighbors. She's going to, yeah, and they're going to try to, spiffy it up a little bit, and there's a going to put a little, more food items in there.
I'm sorry, I can't reach that.
Oh.
Thank you.
And, although she's going to be alcohol certified and that, I'm going to let she has to get fingerprinted and not, we'll have to check with the office because she was on the license. And she's familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board, and anybody that's going to serve alcohol is going to be alcohol certified, and she'll hire people from the neighborhood if available.
Anything else?
That's it.
Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. Thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, as well as the proffer from council and the exhibit received, I vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license from a secured creditor with continued outdoor table service.
Yes, based on materials and proffer from the attorney, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership from a secured creditor with continuation of outdoor table service.
Based on application materials, the proffer made by council and exhibit that was entered today, I also vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of this Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license from a secured creditor with continuation of outdoor table service.
After hearing our docket today, I don't know if you want to continue with the BD7 license, but you've done well so far, so I hope you can continue. Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit number 1, menu.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There being no further business before this board, the board is in recess until Thursday, April 18th at 10:23. Mr. Chair, we are adjourned.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you to the members of the City Sheriff's Department for their cooperation, and to all the members of our staff. We'll see you soon.